Well, I guess yeah, we're live now. Um, we should be right. We, I will try to do my most average basic and check my audio there at least. Do we have audio? Does it sound somewhat hearable, or should I? Yeah, it sounds. Do we have sound? I don't fucking care. We have sound. So yeah, hello everybody. It has been a long week, huh? Man, what an incredibly long time it has been since the last occasion that we find ourselves here again. I I will try to lie and I will try to say that yeah, it hasn't been that much. It hasn't been anything real, but you know, sometimes. Eh? Yeah. Hello, Ita, yeah, certainly, for I am. Yeah, but it was kind of true that I pretty much have not that much of an obligation, but rather um, a role to fulfill, let's say, to proper show of my interest. And if I do not show up to something so easy as it is to stream like we do here, as we're going to simply on this occasion, it is literally just chatting, nothing else. Mm, it it becomes kind of crazy. Not simply crazy, kind of meaningless in every other way. Because it is the most basic thing to do, And it is the most simple thing and the most clear way to show that yet we're going somewhere. In items, yeah. I don't know where to really start. If I had to be real. Um, we have been here for a long time and seeing how much we're growing and how much things are working towards the different objectives that I have is amazing, but at the same time, the constant need to set new objectives on the go and to see what should be the few next steps is also incredibly, I wouldn't say tiring, incredibly complex. Tiring, everything can be tiring, I would argue. Everything can end up becoming tiring, and everything can have that quality of being tiring. But yeah, we're simply here to. I wouldn't say there is any real objective in reality. I have too much information inside of my mind so far that yeah, I almost am trying to not even dump all over here after not having talk for like 1 or 2 weeks, or what feels like 1 or 2 weeks. I I don't know. I would say yeah that going back to what I was trying to say before, to try and fulfill the different objectives that we have, while also knowing that it becomes kind of a necessity to set newer ones and even better ones is complex. But it isn't simply complex, it is a rather enjoyable thing, and a rather entertaining thing, I will say. I mean, that is probably one of the easiest ways to gain, I don't know if simply a purpose in life or something like that, or more, more just like simply finding what is going on, let's say. Because, yeah, it isn't even remotely close to wow. I know completely what is it that I am doing with my whole existence, but it is just to give a sense of meaning to where are we standing and what represents each day towards the work of an unending life almost, because I have been thinking about it also, and it feels very much like we have an incredibly, yeah, a life that is full of potential. I wouldn't say that it simply has, by itself, a lot of potential, or no, sorry, it has by itself a lot of potential. The problem is how to extract from it all of the possibilities that exist. But everything else seems truly interesting and truly capable of being something that can be utilized towards the fulfillment of the different goals that anybody can have. And in that sense, it happens that when life feels so long, to believe that sometimes we have no necessity of really working towards what we want and what we are truly in our minds picturing as a necessary thing to have or a necessary thing to create when we allow those ideas to take control. Because I wouldn't simply say it is born out of not a proper understanding of time. It is more based on the side of, in reality, you will tell yourself that there is no necessity of bringing into life what you have been thinking about for so long, due to your own idea being that what you could create in no way could really be a beneficial thing to have for everyone else, and to downplay what you can become and to not let it reach all of its potential, and even on a deeper level, obviously, bring into this reality in which not only you, but also the world which you can't really modify exists or coexist when all of those things are present in your life, and you don't let your own efforts make a tiny, yeah, a change, no matter how tiny it is. It is that you're kind of surrendering yourself towards the idea of maybe what you can be is in no way really a beneficial thing, and maybe what you can become is also in no way something that you might be interested in becoming. Because I wouldn't simply say it is born out of the complication that is created when we believe that our lives kind of could not be so hard, but more, yeah, it is something more along the lines of, sometimes you just feel like there is almost no necessity to take it so hard, but I can still answer it. I I keep coming back at this and coming more and more back. I think it is one of the main questions to try and properly fulfill, or to try and properly answer at the very least, to know why you should work towards the things that you want. Because at the end of the day, you you pretty much wish to create something, and to have the proper reasons at hand to see why you would push as much as you can for yourself, for the sake of whatever it is that you have in mind, or whatever. I don't even have a reason for it. It's the hard thing, because everybody has their own reason, and if you believe, yeah, in that sense, that you should be aligned to what everybody else has, as in, for example, you should try to do it for something good or whatever, it is then in that moment that you end up becoming something less malleable than what you can really be, and less capable of achieving whatever it is that you had pictured in your mind, because the landscape of the ideas can be something so free that when you start setting up boundaries that doesn't really let it run faster in a more comprised way, but rather make it have a more difficult time navigating through the different map that is reality itself. When you make those changes be, and when you believe that it is necessary for you to stick to whatever it is that your society is telling you to be, when you let those things take control, it is in those instances that you might as well wish to not. Well, no, it isn't that you will wish, it is rather that your own past self, if it were to notice in which point of your life you are finding yourself now, it will tell you pretty much, almost unequivocally, that what you went for wasn't really the objective. Because at the end of the day, it isn't about destroying the full vision that you had.
Mr. 305, dial into that. Just want to tell you.
Thank you a lot for the ride. I hope you are doing great, my man. I hope you have also a great stream. Here we are, a very guerrilla based stream. But yeah, welcome. I am ranting. I don't even know what is the point, kind of. But here we are, talking a little bit. Wait, because I know I should do this. Let me. Tell this. Thank you once again. Like, sorry for not doing it properly. Thank you, my man. I hope you had a great stream. Here we are, simply discussing some ideas and some stuff that I have been thinking about lately. Yeah, not that much more context I can provide, I can say. But anything in particular? Yeah. I have been so far trying to see how is it that I can properly answer this question of mine of what ends up being a proper reason to believe that you can't create anything. Because I'm at the end of the day, certainly, or at least my stance is certainly anybody can become somewhat creative, and how to properly ignite that first spark is what ends up becoming hard, because there is no real need for you to not allow all of those things to happen. Kind of, yeah, in a different way, you can always do and bring about this world in which everything else also coexists with your own visions and with your own existence also. When you let all of those things be, it is then that you can, to a certain extent, find yourself being more comfortable. Because, yeah, I will also kind of argue that when you can do something instead of negating yourself from the chances of being part of the whole world in which you see things constantly happening, let's say, when you can let yourself do something, it is that you can also feel great. Not in a sense in which you are not feeling great before of that, but rather in a manner in which you might find it very true that sadly what you're going through is something that others can enjoy, even if for yourself it is not a good experience or anything of that sort. It always happens that, well, not always, on a kind of big majority of the cases, it happens that people who is doing something out of pure passion makes it not only from a side of entertainment, nor also from a side of interest of bringing into this reality or into this shared reality what they had seen on their own selves and their own minds, let's say. But also, when you can create something and when you can make it be real, you find that you're basically not fitting what is the existing, maybe kind of influencing something that might be so might as well be so easily influenceable, no? But I don't really know. I mean, knowledge seems so far easier than ever to acquire, yet it never stops being something completely complex to fit into where we are right now. And you can always find ways to pull yourself, kind of, yes, but it also happens that, also, hello, Gungun. But yeah, you can always find ways to motivate your own existence to keep moving forward without really minding so much the rest. I don't know. It is certainly hard to build momentum when starting from zero. I think we just have to find things that we care about to help push us along. Yeah, I mean, it certainly is kind of necessary. At the end of the day, you always try to build that in different ways, but unequivocally you do it. There is no completion of an objective if you don't find that the objective itself can be properly completed, let's say, because you can impose on yourself ways to believe that what you are doing is properly moving forward, as in, yeah, I might have used believe when it simply is more of a constant practice of observing if your efforts are being paid off in this, as I said before, reality or shared reality. And you know, it certainly feels good, but yeah, everybody needs something like that, and everybody has a necessity for something like that, yeah. But the problem is, why in some cases it is that we lack the proper communication about this, because it doesn't stop being truth that we have these mechanisms developed further, yet the more you delve into these ideas. But the sad reality is we forget to tell people that they need to have them, and we have in some cases some, I don't know, I can't even begin to imagine how much of a wonderful thing it is. I was going to say simply good things. There is no way to describe how much of an amazing thing it is to let something creative be born into the world, and let something of that sort be brought to this reality, or as I said, shared reality, in which all of the humans coexist in one way or another. So, to let those people find ways to make them be more real, and to let them be more grounded on everything else, and to let them also be successful is kind of necessary. But the problem is, how? How can you tell somebody that they can do those things without feeling so pressured, and without feeling that they have an incredibly big burden? It is more like, the problem is, in that same sense, it happens that you have to go back into the whole idea of society, and into the whole idea of how to make sense of the concept of somebody trying to manipulate who you are. Because in reality, why would you try to find an enemy when in so many cases nobody is really trying to control what you are as an individual? As long as you're capable of existing inside of the most basic human rules, nothing else is going to really change, or nothing else is really being affected by somebody else. As long as you're capable of properly acting as a human being, nothing really makes you be in a certain way, let's say. I mean, you can argue that somebody is trying to control you because they try to make you go to, for example, in most of the cases, vote. But as long as you don't even see it as a necessity, you can always excuse yourself out of those moments by simply knowing that the things that you do with your physical body don't really have a necessity of intertwining with what is going on inside of your mind. You have no necessity whatsoever of paying attention. You can always find yourself entertained and even more deeply, deeply inside of the realms of your own imagination, being being somebody who is developing out of those ideas that you wish to work towards, instead of having to kind of bothersomely exist in a context in which you know that you're not going to enjoy it. Maybe it is something like not properly presenting those ideas, and maybe I don't know. Let me see this. I would agree there seems to be an epidemic of sorts, of a lack of purpose. Yeah, we lost our way in that regard. Certainly. However, we are posed with a problem in that society who holds the resources we need to survive does not always value the same things that we do. The problem is society values different things, but it is not going to kill you if you show that you're not aligned with what it is thinking about. And the most wonderful thing is also, if you are capable of demonstrating your own ideas properly, and if you're capable of letting them be something that somebody else might try to ask questions to and try to see if it is really useful or not, in those instances, it is that society can also be changed. Because if what you're proposing is sufficiently enough good of a change, it will unavoidably happen. If you can present your own ideas properly in the world, it is going to be a change that is going to be made by the whole society. Because at the end of the day, let's say like this: why will you not want to consume less electricity when you know that most of the time, if you have to pay for your electricity bill, you're going to probably be paying 10 or 20% more without this particular tool that can cost around $10, for example, a completely random example. And if you don't have it, why would you not want to have it if you know that it is going to affect you so highly and it is going to give you so many benefits without any drawback whatsoever? If you can present something to society that can properly fulfill what it might need, it is that then you can let it be an incredibly powerful influence. Because I don't see a necessity over explaining the concept of sometimes societies get so big that they don't really know what is it that they want and what they do and what they value properly. Because if you have to work yourself, almost, I don't know, it isn't healthy. I wouldn't say to that, but it isn't fucking healthy if you have to work 8 hours every single day of your life to keep two children properly fed at home, to go back into your house and to take care of them as a loving parent. You probably don't have the possibility as a member of society, quote unquote, of thinking about if the whole society should be spending their time seeing if maybe we can reduce carbon consumption or something like that. Your life is already complex enough, and it isn't only one example. probably around 50 or 60% of the people is like that, and those who are not like that might as well be preoccupied with their own goals, and only about 5% or even less might have the possibility of really trying to feel any proper role of getting themselves to worry about things that concern all societies or all of the society in which they live, and in which they can also see other people living, let's say. But most of the time people don't really have that much of a chance of stopping to think and stopping to take a moment and appreciate what they have. But I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, we're doing good, and the problem is how to make it go even greater. And I don't know. I don't know. You are so fun at the least. On a more individual basis, there are a lot of ways, going back to it, to see that things can go better and that things are going better also. But a kind of sad reality is that in the way of obtaining this knowledge, you also have to find yourself dealing with so much, with so many others that are not really beneficial to you, because maybe there are ways in which information can be provided without hurting so much. I mean, I would have liked to be prefaced with some very dreadful ideas instead of simply finding out about them up front, you know? And overall, you can always see that it is better to present something slowly than to insert that into society out of nowhere. Even more, how much in the life of ourselves, you know? So, I don't know, I don't know. The point was, going back to it, I feel like I am only criticizing without really constructing anything here. The point is, we're doing great, and we have things to work, and we have things to do, and we have a lot of ideas to fulfill. So, to see that we have an incredibly steep way ahead of us is motivating on one hand, and on the other, obviously tiring already, because I don't know how much time this will end up taking. Personally, I have already accepted that it was going to be long, but the more, in that sense, I think I can understand it from this side also, that the void doesn't really represent voidness, but rather that when you stare into the abyss of your own imagination, it is that you can see how deep it can go. Because maybe things are going to take generations into the consideration of time, and into the amount of time that this whole project might take, you know? I might as well not be capable of really dealing with all of the things that I wanted to do by myself. And not in the sense of I don't have the capacities. There are so many things to do, and there is so much work to do, and there are so many things to create, that certainly it feels amazing to see them, but how to manage to deal with them, and how to manage to be capable of dealing with them, I wouldn't really have an interest or trying to say anything like, by simply showing that you're also there. It is kind of implied, and it is more of a problem that lies on the side of those who, are in positions similar to the one that the potato has in this case, that you need to learn for yourself how to appreciate what you have, because it is one of the easiest ways to see how good you are doing and to see what is the next easiest objective that you can deal with. But I don't know. I mean, it is always wonderful, and it is always an incredibly beneficial experience to take ahead. But it is tiring, and everything else is also going to be tiring. I don't think so far there is something that you can't, yeah, that you can do. Sorry, do not find yourself tired, but it sadly happens that you can't really, in any way whatsoever, deal with your objectives without first having to accept that those objectives you have might as well not really get completed. But yeah, also yeah, sadly, sorry for being a little bit sleepy. Um, that is what I am kind of talking about here. At the end of the day, yeah, I am. I think we're going to get into a new phase, kind of taking into consideration that I might start lacking so much rest. We're going to see how we can manage to keep existing as the potato and as an individual and as overall a living being, you know? So yeah, something like that. But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I will drink some water. I don't know how much I have going already. Let me drink water. Thank you. Also, I have been thinking about it. Munkum, my brother, I love you and I am sorry about this, but I today I can't. I don't have the throat for singing. Today I can't. Sorry. I will probably make um, make amends later on another day, but today I can't. I have been kind of struggling with my throat already, and I mean I'm trying to speak in a tone that is going to hurt less, but yeah, today I can't. Don't worry. I will also try to remember. But how do I reimburse the points? I think it was over here. Let me see. Escape. What is this? What's? Wait. I had to open the shield mode. No, what? I didn't want to open the shield mode. Don't worry. I only have to. I mean, I only have to rest. Good question. When I am going to properly get rest? Because I think I need like a week at this point or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Too much stuff that might as well not really be on point here. So yeah. Anyways, going back into something different and into what I was trying to talk about before, you know. And I think also one of the good things to see is that you can have a good time creating what you want to create because you can do whatever you want, and you can spend your time on whatever it is that you want. So, if you don't really feel like doing something, you can stop whenever you want. The only problem is, in this case, you can believe that things you are doing can be thrown out of the window. Because also, in that same sense, you didn't get to fully grasp what it was, the importance, yeah, what it was that your creation could bring into this world, as I said before. But, I mean, it is always a speculation what you do and what you try to believe that your simple work to a certain extent without believing anything, because it always is tiring, and it always is incredibly hard to put together, even more if you want to make it something that you can also enjoy. It will be not possible to see how much of an influence it can have in anything whatsoever. And you can try to say, but that isn't the point. And you can focus only on having a good experience. But sadly, nowadays we are already living in a world in which sometimes people says, you can not worry about this type of stuff. And we're already dealing with the consequences of sometimes people not worrying so much that it ends up becoming a worrisome thing of its own to see somebody who is so carefree about anything that they can spend their whole life doing something that is literally not even beneficial for their own existence. But I don't know, I mean, it keeps being the same problem. I don't think the problem lies on the society. I don't see it as a necessary thing to try and point out towards the society like, oh wow, yeah, you in particular have this have the responsibility for this problem that we are facing now. Government or state or whatever you want to call it. It feels incredibly easy to say and to do something like that when you have no obligation of doing that. And when you can also try to see that I don't think somebody is really going to stop you if you want to change for the better. And if you want to become something even gooder than what you already are. You can have ideas and you can have concepts that relate to the whole aspect of your own existence, let's say, being not so well put together. But it really doesn't make any sense to believe that you yourself are going to get stopped by the most influential things in your life, or the most influential things not only in your life, in the life of everyone, when you try to become better. At least not in the societies probably of those who are hearing this, because it makes no sense to believe that and to also have the possibility of being here present. Because if that were to be true, somebody saying that you can become so infinitely better than what you are right now, like this, as although it doesn't really have that much of a proper development, and although it doesn't really have that much of a proper explanation behind of it, I accept that, and I let it be completely real. I won't even try to lie. It is sadly the reality. Although all of those things are like that, it happens that you have no way whatsoever of letting something like this exist, because it is already a change and it is already an influential one. But I don't know. I mean, maybe if it works for you to try and point out towards someone in particular to say, yeah, this is the human who made me be so incredibly unhappy with everything else. Maybe if it works like you, for you to do something like that, sorry, it is then that you can say, yeah, I am good, or I am doing better in my life. But I don't know, I mean, yeah, I think one of the few problems might be is that when you try to find who the enemy is, if in the process of doing so you end up telling that you are your own enemy and your biggest enemy, you fall into the whole idea of your enemy doesn't need to be treated with pity because it is your own enemy and it is probably your hardest one. So, if you decide that in the process you are your worst enemy, you might as well start treating yourself unjustly and unfairly when in reality the most necessary thing is always to coexist with your own self. Something that sometimes gets somehow lost. How is it that you can believe you have no necessity whatsoever of feeling great, and you have no necessity whatsoever of being happy, and you have no necessity whatsoever of enjoying the things that you have now, and the things that you are going to have in the future, and the things that you had in the past, and the things that you want to do, and the things that you want to see, to experience, to whatever it is? How? Why will you try to say, yeah, this is what I really want, when in reality you can enjoy so much every single moment of being awake and go to bed every single time with a smile on your face that you might as well try to make it be like that. There is no obligation for you to suffer so much, and there is no obligation for anybody to go through so much pain. In these cases, there are some other, obviously as always, some people who is somehow going to find themselves lost amidst the worst type of experience that anybody can have in life somehow, although they literally did nothing to deserve that. And the problem is also to believe that, oh wow, some people deserve this and deserves that. Nothing works like that. But well, I I am literally nobody saying this, and only experience of life itself is what can guide to the discovery of these ideas, and only seeing and being part of the world is what can lead you to see and to integrate inside of yourself if what somebody else said is true or not. If we had the chance of living the different memories and experiences of somebody else through our own eyes, it is that maybe in those cases we're going to be capable of saying, yeah, maybe this is true, and maybe this is more valuable than what I was thinking about before. Maybe not, but I first went through all of this, and now I can properly form a judgment towards this. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. Basically that. We're fine, I think. And we're going to be fine. But now, yeah, I don't even know how much I have been going on, right? Let me check that. Because, yeah, I have been pushing myself to not fall asleep right now. So, yeah. I have been thinking about how to properly close this since I learned about that idea. Very useful one. And I think a good way to close could be something like, as always, I hope this can be good, and I hope whatever it is that we discuss here can be beneficial to anybody. I certainly had a great time. I wish from the deepest part of myself that everybody else can also have good times while being here. And yeah, I think at least for now that's it. And yeah. I did a bit of a closing statement, as always. I certainly enjoyed it, and I know that with these ideas we can move forward and we can try to make things work. So please, if we are going to try and take out anything from here, know that this was a pleasure to do, and know that it always is possible. So yeah, I mean, yeah, certainly an outro. I mean, what is the point of doing something if you're not going to properly close it, you know? But yeah. From potato outro. Yeah, I mean, you can also try to automate that, but I see sometimes what people say is there is no necessity of automating. Although also it doesn't really need to be super grandiose. You can make it feel natural, and you can let it be something that others can enjoy, you know, and something that people can say, yeah, this might be coming from a real place and coming from a real desire of expressing anything. So yeah, I don't know. Basically with that, thanks as always. On another news, completely different news, I bought a mouse and it already broke. So yeah, I wanted to take that out of my system. Now, yeah, we're going to live here. Oh man, I got so angry. I had an incredibly hard day because of that. I mean, not an incredibly hard day. These past hours, I had kind of a time struggle with that. I was in the middle of using the mouse and it died. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I will have to. So yeah, now we might as well try to see. I guess yeah, we're going to try and write somebody. As always, I hope it was useful. Yeah, I didn't search for anybody to write. I might not really want to search. Do you have any suggestion? Please, I am completely open to them. Whoever we want to raid, in the proper knowledge of being something not so deranged. I mean, whatever. Any kind of suggestion, please. Will do. But yes, as always, I hope it can be good. And I wish it was properly shown that it is an interest of mine to make it be good. So yeah, well, I don't really have to search for somebody to write. I cannot believe this. Why am I being forced to search? But yeah, thank you for being here also. I didn't want to say it, but yes, thank you for hearing. That is the most important part. Not me doing this, but you on the other side deciding to see if this is good or not. So yeah, let me see. Right channel. Do I have somebody over here? I am going to do this thing, and that is to read whoever it is over here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. This is drawing stream, the simplest type of stream. Why does this have no sound? Okay, yeah. Basically, I can't see chat anymore because I opened this once again. Aha! Once again, I forgot about this particular mechanic of. Anyways, now we will leave. We're going to take a break. Until next time, I don't know when. I hope tomorrow. I don't know. I think, yeah, probably not tomorrow. Probably the day past tomorrow. Probably. But yes. No, yeah. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Probably, yeah, tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Anyways, yeah. We're going to live as always. Remember to stay safe, remember to stay nice, remember to stay hopeful, remember to work towards the goals that you have, remember to stay hydrated, remember to do whatever it is that you want to do. first and foremost, as long as it is good and know that you can make it. Now we're going to live here. We're going to raid, as I said before. I found it. Sorry if somebody said someone else. I didn't get the chance to see it. I can't see chat anymore. Fucking Twitch app that doesn't work as intended. But yes, we're going to raid Purple Lavandel. Let me do this. I think. Yeah, start raid. Yeah, okay, there it is. Raiding. Basically, thanks, as always. Well, whenever we have the possibility, we're getting back into here. And if it doesn't happen, at the very least, we'll show you what we have now. So yeah, please, do your part on the side. Know that you can do it, and wish for others to also do it. But, first and foremost, work. Work towards what you want. You can. It only needs to be done. But yeah, as I said, goodbye everybody. Now we're going to read who Purple Lavandel doing art and just chatting. Goodbye everybody. Right.